The first Europeans to set foot in the New World. Part 6. England, Roanoke, and Jamestown. Compared to Spain and Portugal, England arrived late to the New World. For much of the 16th century, England lacked both the naval power and financial resources to build an overseas empire. Yet by the early 17th century, England would establish colonies that laid the foundations for what would eventually become the United States of America. England's early efforts were marked by failure, mystery, and near collapse. During the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, England focused less on settlement and more on disruption. English privateers, such as Sir Francis Drake, attacked Spanish shipping, weakening Spain's monopoly on New World wealth. These raids brought prestige and profit, but did not create permanent English presence overseas. Permanent colonization came later. In the 1580s, Sir Walter Raleigh sponsored England's first serious attempt to establish a colony in North America. The chosen site was Roanoke Island, located off the coast of present-day North Carolina. The Roanoke colony would become one of history's greatest mysteries. The first settlement, established in 1585, struggled almost immediately. Poor relations with local indigenous groups, lack of supplies, and unfamiliar terrain doomed the effort. The colonists eventually abandoned the settlement and returned to England. A second attempt followed in 1587. This time, the colony included women and children, signaling an intention for permanent settlement. John White, the colony's governor, returned to England to seek supplies. Due to war with Spain, he was delayed for 3 years. When White returned in 1590, Roanoke was deserted. No bodies were found. No signs of struggle were evident. The only clue was the word Croatoan carved into a post. To this day, the fate of the lost colony of Roanoke remains unknown. Theories range from assimilation into indigenous tribes to death by disease or starvation. Roanoke's failure haunted English ambitions. It demonstrated how difficult colonization could be and underscored the dangers of poor planning, inadequate supplies, and hostile environments. England learned from these mistakes. By the early 17th century, England's approach changed. Colonization would now be driven not by nobles seeking glory, but by joint stock companies seeking profit. In 1606, King James I granted a charter to the Virginia Company. The company's goal was clear: establish a profitable colony in North America. In 1607, 3 ships carrying 104 settlers sailed to the Chesapeake Bay and founded Jamestown, the first permanent English settlement in North America. Jamestown was a disaster waiting to happen. The settlers chose a swampy location vulnerable to disease. Many were gentlemen unaccustomed to physical labor. Food shortages, contaminated water, and malaria took a heavy toll. Within the first year, more than half the settlers died. Relations with the Powhatan Confederacy, a powerful alliance of indigenous tribes, were tense from the beginning. While trade occurred at times, conflict was never far away. Survival depended on adaptation. One of Jamestown's leaders, John Smith, imposed strict discipline, famously declaring that those who did not work would not eat. His leadership helped stabilize the colony temporarily. The winter of 1609 through 1610 became known as the starving time. Cut off from supplies, settlers resorted to eating rats, leather, and even the dead. Only a small fraction survived. Jamestown teetered on the brink of abandonment. What saved Jamestown was tobacco. John Rolfe introduced a strain of tobacco that proved popular in Europe. Tobacco cultivation transformed Jamestown from a failing outpost into a profitable enterprise. Land expansion followed, increasing conflict with indigenous peoples. The success of tobacco had consequences. It created demand for labor, initially met through indentured servitude, and later through African slavery. The social and economic patterns established at Jamestown would shape the future of English America. Jamestown marked a turning point. Unlike Spanish colonies, English settlements emphasized land ownership and permanent communities. Families followed. Towns grew. English society began to take root in North America. Yet conflict remained constant. As English settlements expanded, indigenous lands were seized. Wars with native peoples erupted repeatedly. The New World was not a fresh beginning free of violence. It was an extension of old conflicts into new territory. Jamestown survived where Roanoke failed. Its survival was fragile, hard-won, and built on exploitation. But it endured, becoming the foundation of English colonization in North America. In the next part of this series, we will explore the indigenous civilizations of North America before European contact, revealing what existed long before Europeans arrived.